Okay, this is a video on how to use the floor scrubber. This one isn't the exact same one that's at the daycare, but it is very similar. Very minor differences on it, so it should be sufficient. So to start, first of all, you have the top tank, and it has the ability to release right here. So you push this button on the top, and it releases. It has water, and it has solution in it. Okay, both of them have to be full. You got to fill these up. Okay, simply remove the cap, fill it up. You put regular water in it. The solution, we have to buy that, so we want to make sure you get that in there. They have fill lines on them to show where the max fill is. This particular one has it on the side. It has it for both sides. Okay, I think the ones at the center have them on kind of like the top, like right here. So just make sure you're not overfilling them either. Okay, when you put these in, you have to pay attention to how you put them onto the machine. It doesn't just set on there. You can't just set it on there all willy-nilly like that, or it doesn't work. So, set it down at an angle. Make sure it actually locks in. It has to clip in, okay? And then the water's ready to go. So you can just take that off, fill it up, do what you need to do with it. The next part we're going to look at is the tank on the bottom, okay? Tilt this down a little bit. Okay, so the tank on the bottom is where your wastewater goes, all right? So this is where all of the dirty, nasty water is going to go when it's all done. This tank, I'll move it back so you can see a little bit. It's pretty easy to take out. There's a handle here on the front. So you can see the handle right here on the front, and you literally just lift it straight up, and it releases the tank, okay? So you pull the tank out like that, okay? And there is a drain hole on the back, a drain plug, okay? So when you're doing this drain plug, you just literally pop it out, dump it. When you're done, make sure you drain it when you're done. Don't just leave it full of water, okay? And when you're done, also, please rinse it out. So you want to run quite a bit of water through this thing, okay? Pour it in there, let it fill up, shake it up, dump it out, pour it in, shake it up, dump it out. Clean it out a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect, but let's, get it as clean as we can, okay? When you're done, make sure the cap is fully sealed. Don't leave it half undone. This thing has to have suction or it doesn't work. And if this isn't on, it won't get suction. The other thing is, in the event that you have to open this up, which you shouldn't really ever have to, there is a seal along this entire edge. That has to be fully in there. Last time I saw the one at the daycare, the seal was hanging halfway out, and it's not going to get suction. It's not going to work that way. So it has to be all the way in. When you put it back in, there are two little feet on the back, okay? Those feet have to go into the machine, okay? So you can't just, again, set it on there all, well, it seems like it's all right. I'm going to lock it in. No, you have to set the feet in, lay it down, lock it in place, and it's in there, okay? You shouldn't be able to lift it up once it's in there. That's how you know. The other thing we're going to look at, which you shouldn't have to do often, is the nozzle on the front. If this gets clogged up, it's not going to suck up water, okay? This has to be cleaned out. So you lift this lever back here. There's a lever right here. You just lift it straight up, and it comes out very easily. Okay? It's out. Clean the inside of this thing. Make sure it's not all gunked up and full of garbage, all right? When you're done, you slide it back in. Okay, you want to make sure there's little feet that have to grab down here on the bottom. Make sure those are actually grabbing, because if not, I've seen them where they're sitting out like this, and it's not going to work that way. It's not going to grab, or it's not going to suck up water if it's sitting out like that. See how it's kind of sitting there now? It's not all the way down. So we make sure that's up in there, and then you literally just pull the lever back, and it's in place. It'll be a little loose, but it should be genuinely locked in there, as good as it should be. And then you can put your fill tank back on again with the feet in the back first. Lock it down. So I pulled the lever, locked it down, and it's good to go. So we'll lift this back up. Okay. Now we're ready to start cleaning. Okay, when you're cleaning, this machine has two modes on the front of it. Wash and rinse, okay? So you're always going to start with wash. You're going to wash the floor first, and then you're going to rinse it. The only difference here is when it's on wash, it's putting out water and solution. So our two things up here, okay? Water and solution. When you switch to rinse, it's just doing water at that point, okay? So make sure that you have water in it and solution, because if not, it's not going to do its thing, okay? When you're using this machine, first of all, the power button's down here. You click your power, release your handle, okay? The way you use it, there's a trigger up here on the handle. It's right here, okay? Right where my hand is. You pull that trigger and it's putting solution out, or water, depending on if you have it set to wash or rinse, okay? You hold the handle down while you're pushing it, and you push it forward in a straight line. When you get to the end of where you want to scrub, you release the trigger and pull it back, because you don't want to spray any more solution. You sprayed all your solution down. Now it's scrubbing it, and it's sucking up whatever you just put down, okay? And this is about the speed you want to go. This is not a fast process. So you hold it, going forward. We're getting a lot of water in there, getting a lot of water in there, getting a lot of water in there. Release, because I don't need any more water now. I want to suck it up. So pulling it back, and it's sucking it up, sucking it up, sucking it up, okay? And then I'm going to move over to my next line, and I'm going to do the same thing. You might need to go over a spot more than once, depending on how dirty it is. But genuinely, just hold your handle, go forward real slow, release your handle, go backwards real slow, suck it all up. So you're going to go over at least once on wash, and at least once on rinse. You have to rinse it out after you wash it, okay? That's how you run it. Pretty simple, pretty easy. Now, here's the things you have to watch for while you're doing it. 1, make sure your water tank doesn't run out of water. If your water tank runs out of water, you're not doing anything. 2, make sure your solution tank has solution in it. If you're done washing and it's out, that's fine, because you're just rinsing. But, you know, generally, you want to make sure that you have solution in your tank, okay? The other thing is your tank on the bottom, okay? We're going to look at that a little bit more. So your tank on the bottom, you can't see it as well on this one, but on this side, on the right side, there's a hole right here, and there's a flap that comes up. If this bottom gets too full of water, and it's really not all the way full, it only fills up maybe half, 3/4 at the most that you can fill it up, okay? Once it gets to that point, there's a flap that's going to pop up in here, and you'll kind of hear it make a different noise. It won't sound exactly the same. But if that flap pops up, then it's not sucking up water anymore. It has stopped sucking water, and you have to drain it at that point. You do not have a choice. It is not sucking water, okay? The way you can tell if it's sucking water, the things you want to watch out for. If you are pulling it backwards, so you've already sprayed it out, and you're pulling, and you release the handle, and you're pulling it backwards to suck up the water, okay? Back here, you should see, let me get it where you can see it here. Get a better spot. Back here, you should see water and dirt coming up over this thing right here, okay? And the inside. You'll see it spraying on the inside of this when you're sucking it up, okay? If you are not seeing water and dirt come up into this area, solution, whatever, coming up into this area when you're pulling it backwards, not forward. You got to pull it backwards. You should see, then you have a problem, okay? You have either run out of water because you're not spraying any water anymore, so you need to check your water tank. So you pushed it out and you didn't spray any water, so water tank may be empty. Or the other thing is that flap has closed because this tank's too full, okay? So you got to make sure that your tank isn't getting too full and that you have water in it. If you are not seeing water shoot into here and spray, like spraying this area when you're pulling it back, when you're sucking up water, something is wrong. You need to make sure that you have water in your tank or that this tank isn't too full, okay? Those are the two things. So that's how you use a floor scrubber. It's pretty easy. Yeah, there you go.